Welcome to a fascinating journey through the rich and varied history of Bavaria. Over the next few minutes, you will discover how a relatively small duchy in southern Germany gradually developed into one of Europe's most influential and culturally distinctive regions. Today, when most people hear the word Bavaria, they think of beer gardens, Lederhosen, and the famous Oktoberfest. Yet behind these familiar images lies a deeper story of resilience, shifting power, and a culture that has left its mark on the entire continent. The story begins long before recorded history. People settled in the area already in the Stone Age, leaving behind tools and burial sites that show how attractive the fertile valleys and river landscapes were. Centuries later, the Romans arrived and established important towns such as Augsburg and Regensburg. They built solid roads, mighty forts, and aqueducts that turned the region into a frontier of the empire. Roman trade brought wine, coins, and new customs that survived long after the empire collapsed. Even today, visitors can walk along remnants of Roman walls and streets and sense the long continuity of settlement. When the Western Roman Empire fell in the 5th century, Germanic tribes moved into the area. Out of this mixture of peoples, the Bavarians, or Bajuwari, gradually emerged. By the 6th century, they had created their own duchy under the rule of the Agilolfing dynasty. One of their most notable dukes, Tassilo III, encouraged the spread of Christianity and founded monasteries such as Kremsmünster. These religious houses became centers not only of faith but also of learning, writing, and culture. However, power struggles were never far away. Charlemagne, seeing Tassilo as a threat, removed him from power in 788, and Bavaria was absorbed into the Frankish Empire. Despite being ruled from outside, Bavaria managed to retain its unique identity. In 1180, Emperor Barbarossa handed control of the duchy to Otto of Wittelsbach. For more than 7 centuries, the Wittelsbach family shaped the destiny of the land, constructing castles, supporting trade, and weaving Bavaria into the political fabric of Europe. Their long dynasty left behind architectural masterpieces and a tradition of governance that deeply influenced Bavarian life. Munich, founded in 1158, rose to prominence as the capital. The city prospered through the trade of salt, grain, and of course, beer. Beer was not only a drink, but also a cultural symbol. In 1516, the famous Reinheitsgebot, the beer purity law, was issued, setting standards that continue to be respected today. Markets thrived, merchants grew wealthy, and Munich became a hub for art, commerce, and innovation. The Middle Ages were a time of both opportunity and conflict. Bavaria was occasionally divided into upper and lower duchies, each ruled by different branches of the Wittelsbacher. Fortified castles, towering Gothic churches, and walled towns dotted the landscape. Everyday life revolved around farming, seasonal fairs, and the central role of the church. At the same time, Bavaria was connected to the wider world, sending knights to the Crusades and students to universities across Europe. With the Renaissance and Baroque periods came a new wave of cultural flowering. The Wittelsbacher rulers invested heavily in palaces, theaters, and universities. Artists introduced Italian and French styles, decorating churches with breathtaking frescoes and filling opera houses with music. Yet these centuries were also scarred by war. The 30 Years' War from 1618 to 1648 devastated the land, bringing famine, disease, and loss. Still, Bavaria's rulers gained new prestige in 1623 when they became prince-electors of the Holy Roman Empire, securing a higher place in the imperial hierarchy. The 18th century brought refinement and elegance. The Grand Nymphenburg Palace and the Munich residence were expanded, court culture blossomed, and scholars advanced science, literature, and philosophy. Musicians enriched Bavarian life with compositions that echoed far beyond its borders. Politically, the region had to navigate carefully between the competing powers of Austria and Prussia, maintaining a balance in difficult times. The Napoleonic era transformed Bavaria into a modern state. In 1806, Maximilian IV Joseph was crowned its first king, signaling a new era of sovereignty. His son Ludwig I dreamed of making Munich a cultural capital, and his building projects gave the city landmarks such as the Glyptothek, the Ludwigstrasse, and the Feldherrenhalle. Later, King Ludwig II, often called the fairy tale king, erected castles like Neuschwanstein and Linderhof. Though criticized as extravagant in his lifetime, these castles are now among the most famous tourist attractions in the world. After siding with Austria and losing against Prussia in 1866, Bavaria entered the newly founded German Empire in 1871. Yet it retained certain privileges, such as its own army and postal system, keeping alive a strong sense of independence, even within a larger nation. World War I brought the monarchy to an end. In 1918, King Ludwig III was deposed, and Bavaria became a republic. The years that followed were marked by turbulence and political experiments. Revolutionaries proclaimed the short-lived Bavarian Soviet Republic in 1919, which was quickly crushed. Just a few years later, in 1923, Adolf Hitler attempted his beer hall putsch in Munich, a failed coup that foreshadowed darker times. During the Nazi dictatorship, Munich was branded the capital of the movement. Bavaria became deeply entangled in the regime, hosting rallies, propaganda, and brutal persecution. By 1945, its cities lay in ruins, its economy shattered, and its people exhausted. In 1946, a democratic constitution was adopted, still valid today. What followed was often called the Bavarian miracle. Within just 2 decades, companies like BMW, Siemens, and Audi rose to global prominence. New universities opened their doors, modern highways connected cities and villages, and agriculture was mechanized. From devastation, Bavaria moved rapidly into prosperity. What makes Bavaria especially remarkable is its ability to modernize while cherishing tradition. Oktoberfest, maypole dances, alpine rituals, and Christmas markets continue to flourish. Small villages preserve their dialects and customs, while major cities like Munich and Nuremberg drive technology, trade, and culture. Bavaria stands proudly as a region that is at once ancient and modern. Today, the Free State of Bavaria is one of Germany's wealthiest and most dynamic regions. Its cities, Munich, Nuremberg, Augsburg, and Regensburg, are vibrant centers of business, education, and cultural life. At the same time, the Alps, lakes, and UNESCO World Heritage sites like the Würzburg Residence and Weiss Church attract millions of visitors every year. Modern Bavaria is also a sporting powerhouse. FC Bayern Munich has become a symbol of excellence in European football, while winter sports in the Alps and events like the 1972 Munich Olympics underline its international appeal. Tourism plays a vital role, with Neuschwanstein Castle, medieval towns, and alpine resorts drawing travelers from all over the globe. At the same time, Bavaria invests heavily in research and technology. Munich is a recognized European tech hub, while cities like Erlangen and Ingolstadt drive advances in medicine, engineering, and automotive design. Aerospace, biotech, and renewable energy are key areas of growth, proving that tradition and innovation can go hand in hand. Looking back, the history of Bavaria is one of resilience, reinvention, and continuous adaptation. From tribal duchy to kingdom, from ruin to recovery, Bavaria has preserved its identity while embracing change. Its traditions give it strength, while its openness to progress ensures a vibrant future. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson Bavaria offers. Honor the past with pride, but never stop moving forward with courage.